Hello, welcome to episode 60 of No Holds Barred Pod. That is Sal Dodgson.
And that is Don McGowan. Welcome one and all. Please
Welcome.
like, share, subscribe just while we're here. Take a
Getting
second and it's free.
Yes, definitely. Also, check us out on Patreon as well if you want some early access. And last week we did our very first Zoom, well, it wasn't Zoom actually, it was Teams meeting with our Patreon subscribers, didn't we? And we had a good chat for an
It's not
hour.
a meeting per se.
It's just a chat.
We meet up online. It's a bit of a social, isn't it?
Yeah, it was fun. And so if you want to get involved in that, go to patreon.com/no holds barred pod. You can have a 7-day free trial, which means you can have a free I'll stop saying meeting, a free chat with us online. And you get episodes a day early to everyone else as well. So have a look at that. So we're back again. We've just done episode 59 and we're recording on the same day, and things we haven't mentioned in the last episode we're going to cover now. So
War.
Basically. What is it?
I heard about 2 hours ago Max Robespierre was saying Trump says it's all over now.
Oh, right.
I don't think that's accurate though, because I don't think he's got any controlled on.
No. Would you like me to detail exactly what's happened in the last 24
please.
hours? Well, it started 2 days ago, Saturday, when Trump put out a Truth Social rant, as he likes to do a lot. And he basically issued an ultimatum to Iran and said, in all caps, obviously, if you don't open the Strait of Hormuz, we're going to bomb your energy infrastructure and we're going to obliterate you, is what he said. So that was on Saturday afternoon, our time evening. So that gave him till today, Monday the 23rd afternoon, evening, before he started obliterating Iran. Now, this morning at American time around about 7 a.m., another Truth Social appeared by Donald Trump that said, due to ongoing positive negotiations with Iran, I have paused the obliteration of energy infrastructure in Iran, and I've now extended this to 5 days. So he's now got till Friday. What I saw... Go on, sorry. Yeah.
Did he extend the 5 days before or after Iran came back and went, no tar?
Before, but let's see why we think. So,
sorry.
No, it's all right. So I when this happened this morning, so it was about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, something our time, and my phone went mad because I've got loads of news apps, obviously, and it said Trump's paused his obliteration of Iran. Reuters, Sky News, BBC, LBC, Guardian, everyone put out. And it just suddenly struck me, like, why is this being reported without any sort of fact checking? Like, these people are just desperate for traffic to their websites, because everyone's reporting everything he thinks on Truth Social as actual news. So, and lo and behold, within 56 minutes, the whole thing started to unravel. What actually had happened? Well, he'd made this announcement before the markets opened in America. So the price of oil started to drop. And then the price of the S&P started to drop. So it says, in fact, I'll read this exact thing. But basically, he caused a $3 trillion swing in the markets on opening this morning. Deliberately. He's manipulating the markets 100%. And so people, it's like Ed Conway at Sky News, who's like breathlessly running to put out posts like Trump's paused the war, and then, oh, look, oil's falling. But within an hour, it all changed again. And it like wiped about $1 trillion in total off of the market cap of the S&P 500 in America. So like he's just screwing the markets in America, but people seem so desperate for clickbait now that they just rush out every brain fart that he has. So then, after he'd written this post to say that he'd paused it, about an hour and a half later, various sources came out of Iran saying, what negotiations? No, none of this is true. We haven't even spoken to them. So then lots of Iranian sources came out and said, no, there's been no negotiation. Trump's backed down because he's scared of us. So they started trolling Iran again. So he's made himself look really stupid.
I saw a cartoon they did yesterday. They're ever so good.
What, the Iranians? Oh, I didn't see that. I saw them. What were they? What was it about?
Oh, do you know? I think it might have been on Instagram, but it was basically just a cartoon of how stupid Trump is.
Oh, right.
Sort
Yeah.
of like how things have happened.
Yeah. I can't remember what one of the Iranian spokesmen came on telly yesterday and said something, and he basically took the piss out of Trump. And and he spoke in English, and he said at the end, "Thank you for your attention to this matter," which, if anyone doesn't know, is how Trump signs off all of his posts. So they're just absolutely ripping the shit out of him, and Trump doesn't know what's going on from one day to the next. But basically, I said, it's almost 48 hours after his ultimatum. Iran haven't budged a millimeter. Trump today has announced that he had positive negotiations with Iran, which he hasn't. That they called him. Iran called America. They didn't. They confirmed that. Then he then changed his mind, said that Jared Kushner and Witkoff were negotiating. Iran said no, they're not. Then he said that he'd spoken to the Supreme Leader, and then he said that the Supreme Leader was dead. Then, he cannot keep a thought straight in his head, and everything he's saying now is just like criticizing himself. No, that's not a word. Contradicting himself. Sorry, there we go.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. And I saw, Dominic Waghorn, who's the international editor at Sky, put out a post and basically said, Trump lies. Trump is lying all the time. Everything he's saying is circular. And that's the international editor at Sky News, who apparently who follows me on Twitter. I was quite excited to find out. Dominic Waghorn.
Get you?
And I know, yeah. I was excited about that.
I caught last week that I was very, very chuffed. Is Lawrence O'Donnell on MSNBC?
Ooh, not
because
sure.
he was doing a show and it was MS something it was called.
Oh,
but
probably
he's
is MSNBC.
He's a big famous chat show
Yeah,
host, isn't he, in America? I saw him last week call Trump out as a sociopath and a madman.
Nice.
He said historians will see how very obvious it is. And that was just after Trump came out and said he might bomb people just for fun.
Yeah. He's a lunatic. He's an absolute nutcase. And since all this happened this morning, loads of videos have gone online of him being interviewed outside, I'm not sure, one of the airplanes or helicopters he gets on, and reporters. And everything he said was a lie and it didn't make any sense. So I've seen loads of credible journalists saying it's really, really weird state of affairs that we have to now wait for Iran to confirm or deny a story from the American president, because that's what's happening.
They need to start treating America as such, though. And
yeah, totally. I know. And that's the whole thing I said earlier. It's it's a particularly British phenomenon. We're really bad at this, but it does happen in America as well. That the rush to get out news that Trump says something, desperation because it's just driving traffic, is making news reporting completely inaccurate now.
Did you see that somebody had leaked a handwritten list that Bibi had done of his investors and sponsors?
Oh, no. No, I missed that.
Rupert Murdoch was on it.
Oh, I mean, there's no surprise there, is there? Yeah.
So what do you do? What do you do to break the cycle?
No, I know.
I mean, I've got some suggestions, but none of them are legal.
Yeah. We don't want to get struck off YouTube.
Wouldn't dream of it.
No. I just found the tweet.
We're all thinking it.
The tweet I put out earlier. So the original post came from something called the Kobayashi letter, which is a Market Watch Twitter that I follow, and they're very credible. And it was retweeted by Ron Filipkowski, who's another journalist in America who's very credible as well. So his post just said market manipulation. The timing of Trump's threats, usually Friday nights, then backing down, usually early Monday mornings, on war and tariffs, tells you all you need to know. So that's what I said earlier, is this 5 days extension to the ultimatum takes him to close the markets on Friday. It's Friday to Monday. He's working the trading window so that he can get favorable results within the markets. But so here's the actual data of it. 7:04 a.m. today, President Trump said the US and Iran have had productive discussions to end the Iran war. By 7:10 a.m., the S&P 500 surged plus 240 points, adding $2 trillion in the market cap. 27 minutes later, Iran completely denied all of Trump's claims and said there has been no contact with the US. By 8 a.m., the S&P 500 had fallen 120 points, erasing $1 trillion. That's a $3 trillion swing market cap in 56 minutes. And that's market manipulation. And that's what Donald Trump is doing. The world has to wake up and see this instead of rushing
Go
on.
They've got to round them up. This is fucking mental.
I know. It's just bizarre.
People are dying so that this can happen. So he can swan around laughing and joking and making money with his family forever. No, these people need to be locked up, and all of their investments and personal finances need to be liberated and put back into the public purses.
Yeah, I know.
Everywhere. End billionaires now.
Well, Trump's made like $1 billion since he's been president.
He was not a billionaire when he started his second term.
Exactly.
But he is now.
He is now.
In less than a year.
Yeah.
Make it make sense.
Absolutely insane. I know. But that's what this is about.
Over a year.
Yeah. Wars make money, and Donald Trump is making money out of this war.
Wars kill and make money.
Yeah, they do.
It's fucking sick. It's parasitic.
It's horrendous.
Literally endemic, parasitic, psychopathic behaviour. And it's being, all the clues were there. This is why we lock people up when they misbehave. Because, it's a precursor to something worse when they escalate, because that's how human behaviour works.
Yeah. And this is the man at the top of the tree, the world's sort of superpower, the most powerful man in the world, and he is the world's craziest, psychopath.
Evil bastard.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, I'll be honest, when I was at the protest on Saturday, and it's been my lifelong opinion, to be honest, if God existed, none of this would be happening.
Yeah.
We have good and evil, but it's all living humans creating it.
It really is, isn't it? It really is. I know. So, yeah, I mean, it's just... Oh, that was another thing, just that he let slip while he was on Fox News earlier. Adam Cochran, who's a good source on Twitter in the news, Trump saying that he'd spoken to the Supreme Leader and then hadn't spoken to the Supreme Leader, that he thinks was a complete slip of the tongue. He thinks that Trump, Jared Kushner and Witkoff are actually speaking to a guy called Gallibaff, who's nothing to do with the inner circle of the Supreme Leader now. So what the supposition coming out of this sort of part of the discourse is that Trump might be trying to execute a coup by the back door in Iran by talking to someone else in the regime. So, well, yeah, I know. But basically, Adam Cochran says, as I mentioned, if it is Gallibaff they're speaking with, they're trying to back a coup, not a peace deal. So that puts a whole new swing on the ball completely, doesn't it? So fuck knows what's going to happen in the next... I mean, I was going to say tomorrow. Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? But in about 25 minutes, the world could have changed again because Trump's changed his mind.
I mean, this makes Bay of Pigs look fucking childish, doesn't it?
It makes the Bay of Pigs look like a well-oiled military machine. No, like executed to military precision, which it definitely wasn't. But yeah.
I found out yesterday, French judge Nicolas Goyou, who issued an arrest warrant for Netanyahu at the ICC, he's had all his cards blocked by Visa and MasterCard. He can't make any purchases. He's a judge, but he's being treated like a criminal. Judges, lawyers and politicians are being intimidated. A colleague told me my name won't be removed from the blacklist until Trump's term ends. Despite intervention by the French president, US authorities have not responded.
That's insane.
They need taken down, man. Yeah.
So what he's saying is, if you're a prominent figure and you're critical of the Trump Netanyahu war, then
it's on the ICC panel, so
yeah.
But they did it to Albanese, didn't they? Francesco Albanese.
Yeah, Francesco. Yeah, I saw something that she put out yesterday about that. I know.
Where are the good people, please? And what are they doing?
Well, they're certainly not at the top of the tree in these two nations, are they? The other thing about this thing is, like Trump had said, we're going to hold off for a bit. within about 25 minutes, the Israeli Air Force put out a tweet saying the Air Force had begun a short while ago another wave of strikes targeting infrastructure of the Iranian regime in Tehran. So that's what Trump had said an hour previous that was going to stop. So Israel had basically gone rogue on Trump, which is like, what?
Well, do you know what, though? They need to wake the world up.
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to take.
But what worries me is that 2073 that you still haven't watched.
Yeah, I will.
There's a thing where they document like the history pretty much since Thatcher to how we've got here, and then they said, and then it happened, but it's never made. I'm giving the film away, like it's a docu-film.
No spoilers, yeah.
But they never say sort of what it is.
Okay, yeah. The tipping point.
It's implied that it's a nuclear attack.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, that happened
and it's
over the
implied
weekend,
that it's by Israel.
Well, that was sort of a bit of a freak out at the weekend because Iran managed to get some missiles through. Is it on Dimona, the town of Dimona in Israel, where
that's their town?
Where Iran
because they do everything in the middle of residential areas because they're psychopaths.
Which is what I was about to say, which is what they accused Hamas of doing. No, it's absolutely the fact, though, isn't it? So
every accusation's a confession.
So they're pleading like that Iran are battering their civilian infrastructure, but actually it's not. It's their nuclear infrastructure. Yeah.
I mean, the crying coming out of Israel right now is unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. And the very last thing I wanted just to say about this whole Trump bizarre saga was that about an hour after this whole thing kicked off and Trump and Iran and yes and no, this happened, that happened, journalist called Yalda Hakim, who works for Sky International, said, an Israeli security establishment source tells me, I'd approach this cautiously with a grain of salt. It's early Monday morning in the US, the start of the trading week. Markets opened higher, largely as expected, following the weekend reports on negotiations and latest statement by Trump. So even Israel are calling him out on the market manipulation. So that's just fucking off the charts bananas. So today's been a weird day, a very weird day for Trump and the war. It's when we're basically resorting on Iranian government to provide us with credible source on our news. That's a weird place to be in.
But well, you'd think so if we hadn't spent decades being propagandized to believe the people in the Middle East can't be trusted.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. It's just crazy. I can't think of another way of putting it, and I don't know.
I mean, funny enough, I don't know if you caught on, but there's been we're recording a day after 4 Jewish ambulances were incinerated overnight. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't know Jewish ambulances were a fucking thing. I thought we all just had NHS ambulances, but then I remembered the superiority clause.
They're just community ambulances, that was all. But yeah. There's other community ambulances up and down the country, so...
I've forgotten I was going to relate that to what we just said.
Yeah, no. They're just charity ambulances. They raised the money for charity to pay for them, but...
For the Jewish community?
Yeah. But there are other community ambulances around the country for different other communities as well. It's not a specific thing to them, that's all. There are other examples of it, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. How was I going to connect that? Oh, because I saw a clip on Twitter that all the Orthodox Jews out in the street sort of, oh, this has happened and we're being attacked. And notwithstanding, the Cryonists are quite famous for false flag attacks on themselves to go, oh, look what they did to us, to engender help that they don't really need. They're just trying to get their gang bigger. But they started screaming at Al Jazeera, who were there to document. And they started telling Al Jazeera to get lost. They're just press. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, that's strange. Well, they're sort of...
Oh, I mean, the racism
press,
was...
Yeah.
The racism was off the charts.
Yeah, I think some IRGC-linked group have claimed responsibility for it, but because they've attacked several Jewish hospitals and Jewish installations across Europe over the last month. I'll find the name of it in a second, but yeah, you don't know what's happened. We don't know. It's just
Doing tit for
difficult to.
twat.
Well, yeah, probably, but I mean, I don't know. They shouldn't be attacking innocent people, obviously, but I think it is the Iranian kind of fundamentalists that have claimed responsibility. What are they called? I'll find it in a minute. But yeah, I don't know. I think we'll see more of it, unfortunately. You can't blame Jewish people for the actions of the Israeli government. That's my
I'm
stance.
not at all.
No, I know you're
I've got
not.
an
I
issue
know.
with cryinists.
No,
Sorry, I just want to make that clear, though.
Oh yeah, of course I know that. I wasn't suggesting otherwise. Just as a general statement, but it's difficult to separate sometimes the feelings because there's this mass hysteria always follows something that happens with the Jewish community, much more so, I think, than anything that happens to the Islamic community, but the Muslim community. So, yeah.
Because that's what happened. No. Anyway, interesting news.
Yeah.
Sorry, is there any more on that?
No, I didn't. No.
Because I saw today that a guy, I don't know if this is good, bad, or indifferent, I haven't done enough research. There's going to be a new DG taken over from Tim Davie at the BBC called Matt Brittin.
Yeah, I don't know this.
Not Britas, thankfully, Brittin.
The Britas Empire.
Formerly spent 20 years at Google.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, oh, don't really like that.
Yeah.
He's also set to join the board at The Guardian, which you'd think would be a plus, but all things being now they are at The Guardian, the jury's still out.
Up and down, yeah.
He has worked at Trinity Mirror, has pronouns in his bio, like that matters.
Yeah.
And is obsessing the right-wing press, so they're quite good early signs. But, like I say, I mean, can he be worse than Davie? Who knows? Davie isn't the big problem on the board anymore, is he?
No.
That knobhead's still there, isn't he?
Robbie Gibb.
Cryonist, raging cryonist.
Yeah, he was the editor of the Jewish Chronicles. It might still be.
No, he's the front man for the money, and he won't tell anyone where the money's coming from.
I knew there was a link there somewhere. Who are very pro-Israeli government, aren't they? They're really.
Oh, they're disgusting.
Quite shocking. Some of the stuff.
They're why Question Time, Dan.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. I'll have to have a look at Matt Brittin. I hadn't previously heard of him, but we'll have a look.
No, me either.
Yeah. He was a commercial director at Trinity Mirror. Sorry, I just Googled him there. Wow.
Just need to look into who his friends are.
Yeah. See where the money comes from. That's normally the. Sorry, my laptop's being weird. Bear with me a second.
Okay. But while you're doing that, there was. I don't think you missed it. There was a bit of furore on X the other day, rightly so, because Professor Morandi, who is basically, from what I can gather, sort of an unofficial Iranian spokesman, academic, very feisty man. I actually quite like him, to be honest, because he takes no shit and he speaks straight, and that's what I like.
Fair enough.
And on the 19th, was it? What did I say? Don't know what. Oh no, a few days ago. An account on X at terror_alarm put this post out with a picture of, a 53-second video of him. And it says, "We are crowdfunding $1 million for a bounty for the capture of Mohammad Morandi, advisor to Iran's supreme leader and frequently IRGC-aligned propagandist. We want him alive." And they put that out on X, and it's still there to the best of my knowledge.
Is it?
Yeah. Riddle me that.
Have a look at it, but that's just...
Jeremy Scahill retweeted and just said this is a reprehensible post for X to allow, targeting SM Morandi and putting a bounty on him. It is also a paid partnership. Imagine the outcry if a pro-Palestinian or a pro-Iranian group like this, hang on,
Wow.
did this with Israelis or Americans,
Yeah.
criminal charges would be filed. And
Whoa.
yet, for some reason, that's fine. It's a new level of what the fuck.
That's absolutely madness. Like, how can you put out like a bounty on someone's? That's the sort of stuff for the dark web that's now seeping through into real life, into like.
Oh, and they want him alive. That for me was
yeah, that's horrible.
They're just.
I just
we've
don't
got
know.
what we need to get on top of the internet. It's got out of our grasp. We've let it run too far. And now sensible people need to sit around a fucking table and decide what we're going to do about this monster we've created.
Yeah, funnily enough, I wrote a long article about that just last week, about that exact subject. So,
you did, didn't you, Don?
I did, yeah.
Did you want to talk about that?
Yeah, we can talk about it briefly if you want. I'll put a link into Substack, but I called it Who Watches the Watchers because, you know, we've got these regulatory bodies in the United Kingdom that are sort of farmed out by the government to look after us.
More gatekeepers, aren't they, really?
Yeah. So, like, how many regulatory bodies do you think there are in Britain?
Oh.
Ballpark?
Somewhere between 10 and 50.
112.
Shut the front door.
112? There's 112 bodies. There's 20...
How does this country work so badly?
Exactly.
Because there should be 10 of them.
Yeah, exactly. So there's 24 just for the health service, 24 just on its own for the health service. So it's just no wonder nothing works. This is basically the crux of 3,000 words that I wrote.
Too many chefs.
Yeah, exactly. So I wrote... It's... Okay, I specifically focused on Ofcom because Ofcom are sort of the arbiters of our life, really. Like, everything that we see and watch is supposed to be monitored by Ofcom. You know, they started out as a broadcast regulator for TV and radio in 2002. And then now they're responsible, it says, they're responsible for TV and radio broadcasting, telecoms, which includes mobile, broadband and landlines, the postal service, and online platforms and safety. So the fourth one there, online platforms and safety, is just basically the internet. So they've been given the brief by the government to look after the internet, please. And obviously that's impossible. So we're at the stage where people are putting bounties on social media for people's lives. And it's just because social media specifically has ruined the world, because nobody can keep up with the pace of it. You know, X and TikTok and are spamming us with their algorithm. You never see the same thing twice. It's just bang, 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 bang. So I have some sympathy to a point with Ofcom because, excuse me, they have this brief of looking after the entire internet. Not like that's before they even look at TV and the postal service and radio and mobile broadband and all this stuff, mobile contract. So I just said, I had a quick look. I got asked ChatGPT to estimate how many news articles, first of all, there are published in the UK every day, so online. And it ballparked me the figure of 25,000 to 50,000 news articles a day, only in the UK. So that's Ofcom. I've got to police that somehow. And then I sort of asked it to just give me an estimate on how many social media posts there are a day. And globally, it says about 5 to 10 billion posts a day on social media. So
I'll do 1 billion of them myself.
Yeah, that's just a fifth of that is just you. But yeah. And then I had another look into sort of like the news reporting part outside of it. So there was a report by Westco Communications in 2024, it was. So then it said 52% of adults get their news from social media. So that's over half.
Surprised it's not higher, to be honest.
Well, that was 2 years ago, so it's got to be higher now. But staggeringly, the most dominant source of news for adults is Facebook, and that worries the shit out of me. It's not Twitter, which you would imagine it would be. It's Facebook with 34%.
Because there's a lot of sources are generally on Twitter, aren't they? Like themselves. So
So over half of adults are getting their news from Facebook.
That's frightening.
That is really scary shit. And this is what I said. It's like, you know, okay, I'm just going to read this bit because the lack of scale at Ofcom is being exploited by bad actors, especially in our political sphere. More and more we see those on the far right especially trying to spread deliberate disinformation to stir up hatred. People become entrenched in their views and believe the accounts on X rather than credible news outlets. And we've seen it time and time again, the Southport murders, the rioting that followed, and more recently, a mentally ill man on a train attacked passengers. But by the time the news got out, the truth, X had created the narrative that it was a Muslim terrorist attack. It wasn't. But then people don't believe it. So I remember when that happened and I was putting out corrections because I could see them and people were just like, nah, we don't believe you. But then people to this day still believe that the Southport murderer was an Islamist terrorist and he wasn't. But because Nigel Farage and Andrew Tate said he was, that's where they get their news from. It's
a paranoid schizophrenic by all accounts.
He was. I mean, there was some dark stuff in there, but...
Oh, I'm not excusing it, but the human brain doesn't... people who do these things are broken in the brain.
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
It's a neurological... Generally, unless you're BB or Trump or one of those little insania. I mean, their brains are broken. That's literally why all this is happening.
Yeah,
and it's like the most important organ in the human body. Humans are stupid, man. We should worship the brain, not a fucking pretend god in the sky. We should worship and look after our brains.
Yeah, we should.
Sorry, did I just go off on a tangent then? But
it's absolutely fine. But talking of brains, I just... There's another bit I wrote, and I'm not going to read it all out, but basically it's GB News. And GB News, as was proved by the New World magazine and Alan Rusbridger last week, is Reform TV. They've done the maths. I'll put a link into the article. Go and read it. It's fantastic. I put this out on the same morning as they put their Reform TV stuff out. But because the speed of social media and of people like Reform and GB News and Talk TV, they can pivot and move so fast that the regulators haven't got a hope in hell. And I said,
fast-moving terror man.
This news fast-breaking terror man. I know. Oh, I might even put a clip in that to cheer everyone up of that.
Do that.
Daubney losing the plot.
First, it's the news headlines. No, it's not. We're going straight to me. This is breaking news. It's fast happening. Because as we just said, with the terror man... it's all gone wrong. It's here. Chip Chapman, we have him coming up soon on the arrest of the terror suspect. He escaped from Wandsworth Prison and he's been apprehended. It's all coming up in GB News. We've got our first guest. Here it is. Police have arrested prisoner Daniel Khalif. Beg your pardon, we're getting the article in the right place. This story is just happening. Joining me now for the latest is GB News Home Security editor Mark White. Are you there, Mark? It's Chip Chapman. We have Chip Chapman, Army for the Army and former head of counter-terrorism, Major General Chip Chapman. Chip, dramatic.
But I said Ofcom has my sympathies to a point. They do face insurmountable challenges to keep the internet and broadcasters in check. But last week, LBC had got an interview with Dame Melanie Dawes, who's the head of Ofcom. And she was talking to Nick Ferrari, and he asked her lots of questions saying, how many fines have you had? What action are you taking against Twitter about this? She told Nick Ferrari that they had issued fines for only 13 social media platforms so far. Several more were under investigation, up to 52. That's it, just 52. Only one company has ever bothered to pay a fine they've issued, and that was an obscure Italian porn website. But all the rest have completely ignored their fines. And that there is a nutshell view on what Ofcom do. They basically do very little, and when they do issue fines, nobody gives a fuck. They just ignore it. So it's just mad.
A thing on that. I don't know if you've got anything to add. I've got an article that I haven't actually read yet. I bookmarked it, and then obviously life got in the way.
For it. Yeah.
It's from CBS News.
Oh, yeah.
A jury has found Elon Musk liable for misleading investors by deliberately driving down Twitter's stock price in the tumultuous months leading up to his 2022 acquisition of the social media company for £44 billion.
Yeah, I saw that broke last week. I don't know what's happening with it, though. He's been found guilty, but...
Yeah. I'll forward it to you so that you can have a read.
Yeah.
Should probably chase that up. It's in my bookmarks anyway, because I thought it, dovetail in somewhere.
It does, though. But then did you see today? Well, just to round off that article, I wrote something about my Palantir one as well, but like how tightly embedded they are in the government. And with basically zero regulation, these companies can just take the piss to the point, as you just said, they're putting bounties out on social media. And then today, did you see the announcement that, come on, load, Palantir has been awarded a contract by the UK's Financial Conduct Authority to analyse internal intelligence data. That's today.
Fuck off. I thought the NHS were being asked to pull out of Palantir.
They were by the NHS, but the government are not. They're ploughing full steam ahead with Palantir. They've announced another one today. So the FCA, the Financial Conduct Authority, is now going to have Palantir wrapped around it.
Worse. 100 million times worse than the NHS.
It's so bad.
Oh, God. Oh, bleh.
I know.
And I haven't even read up on the possible consequences, but my brain just knows that there are loads of them.
Yeah, there are. There really are. The FCA are people that regulate money in the country. Yeah. The banks, the
conduct
sector.
of the people who handle our money, which is a fucking problem.
Because
it's already terrible.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Mr. Ethical Nick will have something to say on that. I might reach out to him because he campaigned for a long time about HSBC being unethical.
Yeah.
So I might chat to Nick about that. But yeah, so that just came out this afternoon. So we've got people like Palantir and Peter Thiel just like wrapping themselves around our entire government with no regulation from above. So as I said, I called my article "Who Watches the Watchers?" Nobody does. That's the answer.
Well, it was. Oh God, who was it? I was talking about
strange
today.
place. Yeah.
Do you know, it might have been you, but I don't think it was. But somebody on Twitter yesterday came out and went, after the Matt Badloss book, and they went, where's the regulator for books?
There isn't one.
Yeah. Exactly.
No.
You see, this is part of why I try to read and I can't anymore. I have concentration issues with my woolly brain. But then I see books like his and I go, so how do I know who's not talking shit?
Yeah.
How do you know? There's no trust anymore.
No, you can't. You can't. It's just, that's the kind of the whole crux of the matter, is it? Like we're in this dystopia, and we don't really realize that we're in this dystopia now, where the world is kind of, some of us do, you and I do, and lots of people we know do. Yeah, exactly. But someone who doesn't follow politics or follow the news closely, as you say, will go into Waterstones and see Matt Badloss's book, Matt GPT's book, and they'll go, oh, it's called Suicide of a Nation. That sounds interesting. I'm interested in that sort of thing, weirdly. I don't know, whatever. But
Suicide of a Nation would be voting for people like him.
Yeah, I know.
It's mental.
But you're talking about the rupture sometimes, and I do think the financial status quo is really rocky at the moment. I think
capitalism is saturated, and the greedy can't stop being greedy.
I was listening to Will Hutton this morning. He was on the radio talking about this, and he's very good. He's quite objective, and he's an economist, and he was saying, the ramifications of this war are much, much worse than people are sort of getting into at the moment. Potentially, this is like unknown levels of financial hardship, and
watch
globally.
2073.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, I don't know.
You see, it's a weird one. I don't mind like being in the shit if we're all in the shit.
Yeah,
I do mind being in the shit all on my own.
Yeah,
which is where I spent a lot of my life.
Yeah, that's
until
a really fair
COVID.
comment.
And I'm a coper.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people who are working class, as you well know, are copers. Will manage.
Have to be, yeah.
There's a lot of rich people who haven't got the first fucking idea.
Oh, yeah, they're going to get hit, I think, with this. If this carries on, I think they will. I just, one paragraph I wrote in my thing, 2 paragraphs. I just wrote, as I'm sure we're all aware, the rise of the robots is upon us. But before we reach that particular scene in the movie, we have to build up to it. I contend
just chuck a cup of coffee at them. Go.
I contend that this is where we find ourselves in 2026, the preamble before the dystopia, the storm before the calm. And I just said at the end, we've got a redundant system of checks and balances. It's leading us to the robots taking control. And I, for one, welcome the peace and quiet our autonomous overlords will bring us. I mean, how much worse could it be? Like, we're fucked. Everything's fucked.
It is, but we're in 2026 and you still, it's a lottery whether you can get the film off your ding mail in one piece. So I'm not terribly worried, I'll be quite honest with you. I think it's all a lot of hot air. I think there's an enormous amount of problems we really do need to get hold of, but I think there's a lot of hot air on top of a lot of hot air because that's what pays people.
Did you see the video that went online last week of the robot in, I think must have been Japan or China? It was like a robot waiter and it was going around taking people's orders and serving food, but it lost the plot and started dancing and blaring music out, and they couldn't turn it off. They couldn't control it, and it was too strong for them to grab hold of. This little weird AI robot, and it was just going mad dancing and singing, but they couldn't stop it for ages.
They didn't put a dead switch on its back.
Well, they got it off of it. They didn't get a coffee on it.
I'm not an engineer. But even I think what you're going to need is a big dead switch on the back of it so you could, or just somewhere with a little handle. You could just pull the battery out, like we've discussed before.
Yeah. No, they wrestled with it for ages.
Natural organisms.
Yeah. They had to wrestle with it for ages before they could get it off, which was a bit worrying because it's only like 4 feet tall or something, this robot, but it was so powerful that it had 3 people on it and it was still dancing. That worried me a bit. But yeah, a big switch on the back of the head, off. That's what they need to have.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. Yeah.
One on the chest, one on the back.
Yeah. Big red button, yeah. Anyway, that's enough about dystopia because it's a bit weird and a bit worrying. But the regulators thing, that's the last thing I was going to say. I wrote a post this morning about the petrol prices because Nope. Yes. Okay. So the Competition and Markets Authority was the word I was trying to get to there. I heard Matthew Pennycook on the radio being interviewed this morning, and he did the rounds on the media, and he was asked about petrol prices because the Chancellor had said that she won't stand for price gouging. She's going to have a stern word with the petrol company.
Yeah.
Yes. Yesterday, as you know, I was out and about watching a movie, and I drove down to Bristol and back, and I had a look at petrol prices up and down. So Bristol, South Gloucestershire and Gloucestershire. And unleaded was minimum of £1.50 a litre, which is up by about 20p a litre, and maximum 160. And diesel is now up to like 170, but I saw it up to 185 a litre yesterday. That's up from about 140. So in less than 2 weeks, it's gone up by 35p a litre on diesel. And this is the Competition Markets Authority. One job is they've got to regulate these prices. But, Matthew Pennycook said we're going to have we're going to ensure that these companies aren't profiteering, but they already are. Yeah, it's just nuts. It's just another regulator that's failed us. So who knows what's going to happen? I'm quite smug that I have my electric car now. So.
Hey, look. All terrible things will have a little silver lining here and there. That's just how life works, right?
That's very true.
And I don't think anything could promote renewables heavier than a massive Middle Eastern war over fuel.
Absolutely. Definitely.
They're absolute dickheads. They're all dickheads.
Yeah. as
But
you
still.
say, the green agenda is going to benefit massively
because
on this.
they're burning all the fucking reserves to death. I swear down, these people need
know,
locking up. We need sensible people running the world, not psychopaths.
Yeah. So, what else
On
we got?
that
Anything else?
bombshell. No, because I've got to go.
Oh yeah, you've got
Sorry.
to go.
I've
Oh,
got
no,
a
it's
lecture
fine.
to go to. But we will record in a day or a couple of days.
A couple of days'
Another
time,
one
yeah.
to catch up, yeah.
Yeah, towards the end of the week.
So please like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for staying with us.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, on that note, we'll see you later in the week. Bye-bye.
Bye.